Of course, Nick could keep her safe by ordering that no one challenge her, but then she would never be respected or followed or acknowledged as alpha female. That would leave her feeling on the outside looking in, which was absolutely unacceptable to Nick, as was the very idea of her in danger. That left him only one option if he still wished to claim her. He would have to step down from his position as alpha. Hell, Nick would happily give it up if it meant he could have his mate. The problem was that no one in his pack wanted the position, and no one wanted the responsibility of keeping the pack stable. The old alpha had been like a cancer, and he'd corrupted the entire pack until he'd blackened the heart of it. Although Nick had challenged and killed him long ago, past events still haunted the pack, and old wounds still tormented it. His wolf wasn't concerned with these details surrounding the matter. It was all very black and white for him. Shaya was his, so she must be claimed. As such, he was particularly angry with Nick. Not that it was unusual for his wolf to be in a somber mood. He had somewhat of a dark disposition, in fact. Well, of course he did. Not only had he surfaced prematurely, but he had been born in rage and fear. As a rule, shifters changed for the first time during puberty. Nick had been just 5 when, in one very bizarre moment, his wolf had surfaced to protect him. Having such a strong, powerful wolf was something Nick was extremely proud of, but it hurt to know that his wolf had been born that way, leaving scars on his soul. Scars which had been deepened by the event that had later led to Nick spending time in a juvenile prison. Despite his wolf's anger, the animal wasn't wild or challenging. No, his wolf was still as controlled and composed as Nick. But he also viewed the world as a bleak, dark, harsh place. Shaya had been the only thing to ever stir strong emotions in his wolf. Admittedly, she was the only thing that had stirred strong emotions in Nick. Much like his wolf, he could be hard, cold, and remote at times. It wasn't that he didn't have a conscience, and nor was it that he didn't know the difference between right and wrong. But Nick seemed to lack a little something, like there had been a glitch in his emotional development that made it difficult for him to bond with others, to connect like they did. He felt emotion the same as everyone else, or the same as most, anyway, but bonding was something he found difficult. Maybe it was hardly surprising. His wolf had surfaced too early, surfaced at a time when his mind and body hadn't been ready. It would be much like a young child being plunged into the stages of puberty. It wasn't something they were psychologically or biologically ready for, and it would undoubtedly have a fundamental effect on their development as a person, mentally, physically, and emotionally. As such, Nick was tainted and broken in so many ways. His mate, however, was much the opposite. Shaya reminded him of a butterfly, colorful, vibrant, graceful, and always on the move. She had a certain grace and ease with people, could mingle in any crowd and charm them with her sassy attitude. Not that she was Little Miss Innocent. Oh, no. He'd heard all about her legendary temper. He'd heard that she could be just as crazy as her best friend and alpha female Taryn. But still, Shaya was sweet and perfect, and so different from him it was laughable. He could still vividly remember the day he'd found her. It had been the mating ceremony of her alpha pair, and he had offered to perform the ceremony for them. He'd had an itchy feeling all day, knowing that something important was going to happen. The second his gaze had landed on the beautiful redhead, he'd known what she was to him. The impact of the realization had been like a blow to the chest. Possessiveness, joy, and need had hit him all at once. The pressing urge to claim her had climbed all over him, entered every pore of his body, and invaded every cell, and it hadn't left him. He craved her so badly that she was all he thought about, all he dreamed about. He itched with the need to have her, touch her, smell her, or even just be around her. The need could steal his breath, taunt his mind, and make his body restless. Basically, it was hell. But the main reason he forced himself to endure that hell and resist claiming this one thing he wanted more than anything else was that she could find herself being burdened with a patient instead of a partner. His mother's words.